Hey everyone, in this tutorial, we'd like to cover three main things about TradingView. The first is going to be the interface, how to understand what's actually happening here. The second thing is actually going to be the tools to help us with our analysis and how to make those changes to those tools. And the last will be actually navigating the chart itself, so moving it around, resizing candles and whatnot. Up here in the top left-hand corner, you can see the symbol. So everything that you're going to be trading or looking at, whether it's stocks, futures, or Forex, it's going to have some sort of symbol. You can actually input that here, and it'll change the chart based off whatever symbol you've inputted. Next to it's going to be the time frame. So right now we're set on 1 day. That means each one of these candles represents 1 day's activity in terms of price movement. If I were to adjust this to 4 hour, now that means that every one of these candles represents 4 hours worth of activity. You can see the rightmost candle is actually going to be the most up-to-date candle, meaning that this right here, 388.17, is actually right now's current price of the Apple stock. And as we go to the left, that's actually going back in time, and we're seeing how price moved throughout time. Looking at the tools are actually going to be found on the left-hand side. So all of these are going to be your tools. We're actually going to be using specific tools within all of these. So if you take a look, there's actually a little right arrow that points out of each section. So I'm actually going to be showing you guys which ones to favorite because those are going to be the ones that we use for class. And go ahead and pause the video or slow it down or anything so that you can make sure you've gotten all the tools. But we're going to go down each one and show you exactly which ones to favorite. To favorite, you're going to click on the little star that shows up on whatever tool you're hovering. So we'll want to use the dot. Moving to the next toolbar, we're going to use the trend line, the horizontal line, the horizontal ray, and the vertical line. Moving to the next set of tools. This one we only need one of them, which is down here towards the middle. It's going to be the fib retracement. Moving to the next set of tools, we'll want to select on brush, as well as rectangle, and the ellipse. Moving to the next set of tools, we'll want to use text. And last but not least, we're actually going to skip where it says this patterns and move down to the one below it. This one, we're going to use specifically what's known as the price range tool. Now, some of you guys might have noticed, as I was adding these to my favorite, there's this toolbar floating in the air with all these tools that were slowly getting added to it. We can actually move this around by left-clicking and holding on these 6 dots here. So this allows us to really easily access some of these tools. I like to keep it down here in the bottom just so it's out of the way, but also very easy to access. Same thing with this sell and buy. We could just move this up to the top. Now, in terms of drawing the tools itself, it's actually quite simple. All you need to do is go down to your toolbar and select on which tool you'd like to draw. Some of these are going to require 1 click. Some of these are going to require 2 separate clicks. And one of them is actually going to require 3 separate clicks. I'm going to start with some of these easier ones, specifically the horizontal line, ray, and vertical line. All I need to do is select on these and click anywhere on the chart, and it's going to draw that line directly across. Same with the ray and the vertical line. Now, for the trend line here, this is actually going to require 2 clicks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select on the tool, and on the chart, I'm going to click once. This is going to set down one side, and you guys can see as it's following my mouse around, I can click again to set down the other side, and I've now finished drawing this trend line. The same thing is going to happen for the fib retracement here. So again, I'm going to select once, and as I move my mouse around, you guys can see that it's drawing, and all I need to do is click again. It's very important that you're not clicking and dragging, because once you let go, it actually does not finish drawing it. These are going to be 2 separate clicks. Same thing with the rectangle here. Click, click. The ellipse is a little bit different. It will actually require you to have 3 clicks. So you're going to set your 2 points, and then you're going to draw out how wide you want your circle to be. And the price range, same thing. Click once, click again. Now you notice that I did skip over the brush and the text. The brush is going to be actually something interesting. So this one, you're going to be clicking and holding as you're going through the charts. So what I mean by that is if you select on it, if I click and hold, you can see that it'll actually follow what my mouse is doing. And once I let go, I've completed that drawing. Quite simple. It allows us to draw on the charts essentially. Text, that allows us to just add some text anywhere on the chart. Hello world. Click on OK once you're done, and you can see that it's here. Now you guys can see that my chart's a bit messy. I got a lot of things going on. And if I wanted to delete an object, all I have to do is select on any one of those objects. So say hello world. And I can hit the delete key on my keyboard, or I can hit this trash can that shows up here. Same thing if I wanted to just get rid of these. If I would like to get rid of everything, there's actually a shortcut over here on the left-hand side. There's a little trash can down at the bottom. Select on that once, and it'll get rid of everything. Now I'd like to show you how to adjust these tools. In a separate video, we'll be going over the defaults that we'll be using in class so you guys can adjust your tools accordingly. But just so you guys are more familiar with how to make these adjustments, let's just go through it. So I've just created a trend line. And what I can actually do is if I left click and hold anywhere on this line, I can move the entire line around. So I don't need to delete it and redraw it. I can actually just make some changes to ones that have already existed. Otherwise, I can actually left click and hold on the circle, and that will make adjustments to that point itself. So I can resize the actual line. That's going to be true for everything. So let me just give you another example. If I draw this rectangle, I'll need to move my mouse to the edges. The middle part will not work. So moving my mouse to the edge, I can move this entire box around, or I can resize the actual box itself. Now, each time I actually select on any one of these tools, you're going to see this toolbox pop up just here. This is how you can adjust your colors, your size, your shapes, all that such. So if I change this, I can change the color. I could change the size. I could change the pattern. Or I can access all of the settings through here. So you guys can actually play around with this. Again, in the future video, we'll be going over what's the default that we'll be using. Okay, I'm just going to clear this out. Now I'd like to talk about how to actually navigate and move around the platform. So it's quite simple. Anywhere on the chart, you can actually left click and hold. And if you drag the chart around, we can go back further in the past to collect more information about past price history. If I would like to increase the size of these candles, I can actually use this, the scroll wheel on my mouse, and I can increase the size of these candles. If I were to scroll out, I can also increase the amount of candles that show up on my chart. Now, you guys might have noticed that as I was zooming in, per se, my chart was automatically resizing my candles. This is actually because auto mode is on. You guys can see in the bottom right hand corner, auto mode is on. If I were to turn this off and I scrolled in and out, you guys can see that now I only have control over the x-axis, which is how wide the candles actually are. If I wanted to manually adjust how long or the length I want for these candles, all I have to do is move my mouse to the price axis right here, left click and hold, and as I move up or down, you guys can see that I'm actually stretching out the candles. Now, general rule of thumb is if you're not as tech savvy or is not as comfortable with adjusting like so, just go ahead and click on auto and just leave it on. All right, and that's it for this tutorial.